Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to figure out if a company is really as good as it sounds. Today, we're digging into Cartica Acquisition Corp's latest filing, and let's just say it is a story about extending deadlines and promises. So, this document is an 8K filing, which is basically a way for companies to report major events that shareholders should know about right away. Think of it like breaking news for the business world. The key date here is the 9th of October, but the earliest event they re-reporting happened on the 3rd of October. It is all about keeping investors in the loop. We're looking at Cartica Acquisition Corp. Now, these types of companies, often called SPACs, or Special Purpose Acquisition Companies, are essentially shell companies. They go public with the goal of finding another private company to merge with or buy. They have a limited time to do this, and often they need extensions. Cartica Acquisition Corp is incorporated in the Cayman Islands, which is a common choice for these types of entities. They've also checked the box indicating they are an emerging growth company. This means they get to follow some slightly relaxed reporting rules, which can be a good thing for them. But it means we have to be extra sharp to catch all the details. Alright, let's get to the nitty-gritty. The main event here is about extending the time they have to find that merger or acquisition target, because time is running out. What they've done is issue a promissory note. Think of it as an IOU, a promise to pay money. This note is for up to $148,409.44, and these funds are being put into the company S Trust account. This trust account holds the money that was raised when the company first went public. It is essentially the war chest for making an acquisition. The reason for this note is to extend the time the company has to complete a business combination. They were originally supposed to do this by the 7th of October 2025, but now they've pushed that deadline to the 7th of February 2026. That is about 4 more months. Here is the breakdown. They'll be putting $37,102.36 into that trust account every month. This works out to roughly 4 cents per S-share for each remaining public share. It is a way to keep the clock ticking without immediately disrupting the shareholders who haven't T-cashed out. And this promissory note, it doesn't earn any interest. That is important. It means the sponsor providing the money isn't making a profit on it. They just get their money back when the company either merges or dissolves. This note was issued under a specific exemption from registration rules. Essentially, since it involves a small number of parties and is for this specific purpose of extending the company's life, it doesn't need the full registration process. We see here that on the 9th of October, they made the first deposit of $37,102.36. This secured the extension from the 7th of October to the 7th of November, and this action is part of the larger plan to reach that February 2026 deadline. This next section is basically a formal acknowledgement that the promissory note we just talked about is a financial obligation of the company. It is a liability they have to account for. Now, amending the company's charter documents is also part of this process. They had to officially change the rules of the company to allow for this extension. This is where we see how the shareholders voted. Companies have to get shareholder approval for certain actions, especially when it comes to extending deadlines that affect their initial investment. They held a special meeting of shareholders on the 3rd of October to vote on these important changes. The first big vote was to approve extending the deadline to find a business combination from the 7th of October 2025 to the 7th of February 2026. This is the core of what is happening here. They also voted to approve their independent auditors, CBs, CPIs, PC, for the year ending the 31st of December 2025. This is a standard procedure, making sure they have an external auditor to check their books. There was also a proposal to adjourn the meeting if needed. This is a common fallback to ensure they can gather enough votes for the main proposals. Now for the results of the shareholder vote. For the extension amendment proposal, a massive 6,486,120 votes were cast in favour. That is a landslide. 0 votes against and 0 abstentions. This shows strong shareholder support for giving the company more time. So, the extension was officially approved. The vote for the auditor ratification proposal was also unanimous, with the same 6,486,120 votes in favour. The auditors are good to go. Even the adjournment proposal got unanimous approval. Everything was a clean sweep. Now, with these extensions, some shareholders decide they V-weighted long enough. Here, 420,537 public shares were redeemed. That means those shareholders asked for their investment back from the trust account. This redemption will cost about $5.2 million or approximately $12.46 per S-share. This is common as deadlines get pushed. Some investors want their money out rather than waiting for a deal that might not happen. After these redemptions, there are now 927,559 public shares left. This means the pool of remaining shareholders is getting smaller. And just like that, the actual amendment to their governing documents was filed on the 9th of October, making the extension official in the eyes of the law. This section is for anything else that is important. They're talking about how the money in their trust account is invested. Typically, it is in very safe short-term US government securities or similar money market funds to preserve the capital. This is standard practice for SPARCs. Interestingly, back in January 2024, they moved the money out of government securities and into an interest-bearing bank account. This can sometimes be a precursor to using those funds, or simply a way to earn a little bit of interest until needed. Now, after those shareholder redemptions, they've again put the remaining funds back into safe US government securities. This is just a way to keep the money secure and liquid until they can find that target company. And finally, the list of exhibits. These are the actual documents that support the information in the report. This is the official amendment to their company's charter, the legal document that lays out the company's rules. And here is the promissory note we talked about earlier, essentially the IOU from the company to its sponsor. And this is the interactive data file for the cover page, making it machine readable for easier analysis by regulators and investors. Signatures pursuant to the requirements of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. The registrant has duly caused this report to be signed on its behalf by the undersigned hereunto duly authorized. Cartica Acquisition Corp date, the 9th of October 2025 by Fizis Saivan. Suresh Guduru name, Suresh Guduru title, Chief Executive Officer. Now, let us look at the big picture. Cartica Acquisition Corp is a SPAC, and like many SPACs, they are in a race against time. They secured a crucial 4-month extension, showing strong support from their existing shareholders who are willing to give them more time to find a deal. They also extended their deadline by using a promissory note from their sponsor, which is a smart move because it doesn't T-cost the sponsor interest. The most interesting part here is that while the company has this extended deadline, a significant number of shareholders chose to redeem their shares. This means they either lost faith in a deal happening or just wanted their money back before the deadline for finding a target passed. This kind of redemption reduces the amount of capital available for an acquisition. It is a balancing act for the company. They need more time to find a good deal, but as time goes on and redemptions happen, the capital they have to make that deal shrinks. The key risk for Cartica Acquisition Corp is their ability to find a suitable business to merge with in this extended timeframe with potentially less capital than when they started. The SPAC market has been challenging, and finding the right partner at the right valuation is tough. Their success hinges on their sponsors finding a strong business that can justify the remaining capital and offer a good return to shareholders. In conclusion, Cartica Acquisition Corp has successfully bought themselves more time thanks to shareholder approval and a loan from their sponsor. However, the redemptions show that some investors are losing patience. The company's future success now depends entirely on their ability to execute a merger within the new deadline, and whether the remaining capital is sufficient to attract a valuable target. What is your take on this extension and the SPAC market in general? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more insights into corporate filings. And don't forget to join our Discord community linked in the description for more in-depth discussions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.